Hello everyone, hope you all are doing well. So, as continuing with our syllabus, now today we are having the topic income exempt from tax, or we can say income which do not form part of total income. Section 10 enlists the various income which are exempt from tax, that is, does not form part of total income of the assessee. Means in this chapter we are going to discuss various types of incomes which are exempted from tax and do not form part of total income of the assessee at the time of calculating income tax. So we are going to discuss various such incomes as defined in section 10. First amongst them is agriculture income. Agriculture income is exempted from tax. Only some part of agriculture income is treated as part of total income of the assessee. Second, members share in income of HUF defined under section 10 subsection 2. Any sum received by an individual as a member of a Hindu undivided family where such sum has been received out of the income of the family, or where such sum has been received out of the income of an estate belonging to the family. Such income is fully exempted from tax. Next, share of profit from a firm. Section 10 2A. Share in the total income of the firm is exempt in the hands of the partner. Next, interest income of non-resident, section 10, subsection 4, clause 4b. Interest on specified securities or bonds, including premium on redemption of such bonds, is exempted in the hands of an non-resident. Second, interest on non-resident external in any Bank of India to a person who is resident outside India, or is a person who has been permitted by Reserve Bank of India to maintain the aforesaid account. Interest on notified savings certificate issued before 1st June 2002 by the central government to a non-resident being a citizen of India or a person of Indian origin. Any type of interest income received in these category is fully exempt. Next, interest on rupee denominated bond. Interest payable to a non-resident not being a company or to a foreign company is exempt if following conditions are satisfied. Condition 1. Interest is payable by any Indian company or business trust. Second condition. Such interest is payable in respect of money borrowed from a source outside India by way of issue of rupee denominated bond as referred in section 19. Third condition, such bond has been issued during 17 September 2018 and 31st March 2009. If these three conditions are satisfied, then interest on rupee denominated bonds are fully exempted. Next, interest received by a specified fund. Any income accrued or arise or received by a specified fund as a result of transfer of capital asset referred in section 47 on a recognized stock exchange located in any international financial service center and where the consideration for such transaction is paid or payable in convertible foreign exchange or as a result of transfer of securities or any income from securities issued by a non-resident and where such income otherwise does not accrue or arise in India is chargeable under the head profit and gains of business or profession. To the extent of such income accrued or arisen or is received is attributable to units held by non-resident computed in prescribed manner. Moving further, leave travel concession, it is fully exempted. Next, remuneration to person who is not a citizen of India in certain cases. This has some cases to be considered. First, remuneration received by a person as an official of an embassy, high commission, consulate, or other trade representative of a foreign state. These officials provided corresponding Indian officials in that foreign country enjoy similar exemptions in their country. Second case, remuneration received as an employer of a foreign enterprise for services rendered by him during his stay in India, provided the foreign enterprise is not engaged in any business or profession in India. His stay in India does not exceed 90 days in aggregate, and such remuneration is not liable to be deducted from the income of the employer under this Act. Remuneration for services rendered in connection with his employment on a foreign ship, provided his total stay in India does not exceed 90 days in the previous year. Remuneration received as an employee of government of a foreign state during his stay in India in connection with his training in any undertaking owned by a government, subsidiary of a government company, corporation, establishment by any central, state, or provincial act, and any society wholly financed by central or state government. Such remunerations are fully exempted. Next, tax paid by government on royalty or fees for technical service fully exempted. Tax paid by government on income of a non-resident or a foreign company. Tax paid on income from leasing of aircraft. These all incomes are exempted. Moving further, fees for technical services in project connected with security of India. It can be defined as any income arising to notified foreign company by a way of royalty or fees for technical services received in pursuance of an agreement entered into with central government for providing services in or outside India in projects connected with security of India. Next, income from service provided to National Technical Research Organization. Any income arising to a non-resident or to a foreign company by a way of royalty or fees for technical services rendered in or outside India to the National Technical Research Organization is fully exempt. Next, allowance or perquisite paid outside India. Any allowance or perquisite paid outside India by the government to a citizen of India for rendering services outside India is fully exempt. Next, remuneration received for cooperative technical assistance programs with an agreement entered into by the central government in certain cases. Next, remuneration received by non-resident consultant or employee or family member of such consultant is also exempted. Death cum retirement gratuity, it is exempted. Commutation of pension, it is exemption. Leave encashment, it is exempted. Worksman retrenchment compensation, it is also exempted. Compensation under Bhopal Gas Leak Disaster Act 1985, fully exempted. Compensation for any disaster, exempted. Payment under voluntary retirement scheme, exempted. Tax paid by employer on behalf of employee on non-monetary perquisites, exempted. Sum received under life insurance policy, including bonus on such policy, is wholly exempt from tax. However, exemption is not available on any sum received under Section 80DD or under Section 80DDA. Second, any sum received under a keyman insurance policy. Third, any sum received under an insurance policy issued on or after 1st April 2021, in respect of which the premium payable for any of the years during the term of the policy exceeds 10% of the actual capital sum assured. For calculating actual capital sum assured, no account shall be taken for the value of any premiums agreed to be returned or any benefit by way of bonus or otherwise over and above the sum actually assured, which is to be or may be received under the policy by any person. Next, payment from statutory or public provident fund. Next, payment from Sukanya Samriddhi account. Next, payment from recognized provident fund. Next, payment from National Pension Trust. It has some explanations for understanding. Any payment from the National Pension System Trust to an assessee on closure of his account or on his opting out of the pension scheme to the extent it does not exceed 60% of the total amount payable to him at the time of such closure or his opting out of the scheme. Next, payment from approved superannuation fund. Any payment from an approved superannuation fund made on the death of a beneficiary or to an employee in lieu of or in commutation of an annuity on his retirement at or after a specified age or on his becoming incapacitated prior to such retirement or by way of refund of contributions on the death of a beneficiary or by way of refund of contributions to an employee on his leaving the service to the extent to which such payment does not exceed the contributions made prior to 1st April 1962 and any interest thereon. Next, house rent allowance. It is exempted with some conditions mentioned in the video of income from salaries. Same notified special allowances. Next, coming interest on securities. It has some categories. Interest premium on redemption or other payment on notified securities, bonds or certificates are exempted. Interest in the hands of an individual and Hindu undivided family on specified capital investment bonds or specified relief bonds fully exempted. Interest on specified bonds to non-resident or his nominees if such bonds are purchased by a non-resident Indian in foreign exchange and the interest and principal received in respect of such bonds, whether or their maturity or otherwise, is not allowable to be taken out of India. Interest on securities held by issue Department of Central Bank of fully exempted. Interest payable on loan advancement by Nordic Investment Bank for an approved project. Interest payable to European Investment Bank for financial cooperation agreement, interest on securities held by Welfare Commissioner, Bhopal gas victims, interest on gold deposit bonds, interest on specified bonds, interest received by non-resident or a person who is not ordinary resident in India on a deposit made on or after 1st April 2005 in offshore banking unit referred in Special Economic Zone Act 2005. All such interests on securities are exempted. Next, income from leasing of aircraft. Any payment made by an Indian company engaged in the business of operations of aircraft to acquire an aircraft or an aircraft engine on lease from the foreign government or a foreign enterprise under an approved agreement is fully exempted. Here, foreign enterprise means a person who is a non-resident. Next, scholarships granted to meet the cost of education fully exempted. Some points for consideration in respect of scholarship are cost of education also includes incidental expenses incurred for education. The exemption is irrespective of actual expenditure. Next, income, daily allowance, etc. to MP MLA pertaining to some explanations. First, Daily allowance received by any person by reason of his membership of parliament or of any state legislative or of any committee thereof. Second, any allowance received by any person by reason of his membership of parliament, and constituency allowance received by any person by reason of his membership of state legislature. Such allowances are fully exempted. Moving further, next income is awards and rewards, whether in cash or kind, in pursuance of any award instituted in the public interest by the central government or any state government or by any other approved body, or as a reward by the central government or any state government for approved purposes, are fully exempted. Pension to receiver of gallantry awards by way of pension received by an individual who has been in the service of central or state government and has been awarded Paramveer Chakra or Mahavir Chakra or Veer Chakra or such other notified gallantry award, or family pension received by any member of the family of such individual. Next, family pension to widow or children of armed forces. Family pension received by the widow of children or nominated heirs of a member of the armed forces of the Union where the death of such member has accrued in the course of operational duties in such circumstances and subject to such conditions as may be prescribed. So, any pension to widow or children of armed forces is exempted. Next, palace of ex-rural. The annual value in respect of any one palace which is in the occupation of an ex-ruler are fully exempt. Next, income of local authority. Following income of a local authority is exempt. Income chargeable under the head income from house property, capital gains or income from other sources, income from the supply of water services or electricity within or outside its jurisdiction. Next, income which is exempted under section 10 is palace of ex ruler. So the annual value in respect of any one palace which is in the occupation of an ex ruler is fully exempted. Next, income of local authority. Income of local authority is exempt in following cases: income chargeable under head income from house property, capital gains, or income from other sources. Second, income from the supply of commodities or services within its own jurisdiction. Third, income from the supply of water services or electricity within or outside its jurisdiction. Next, income of scientific research association. Any income of a scientific research association or research association which has its object undertaking research in social science or statistical research is exempt provided such association applies its income wholly or exclusively to the objects for which it is established and invest or deposit its funds in specified investments. If these conditions are fulfilling, then income of scientific research association is fully exempt. Next income is income of news agency. Any income of specified news agencies set up in India for collection and distribution of news shall be exempted provided the news agency applies its income for application solely for collection and distribution of news and it does not distribute its income in any manner to its members. Moving further, next income is income of professional institutions. Any income other than income chargeable under the head income from house property or any income received for rendering any specific services or income by way of interest or dividends derived from its investments of professional association shall be exempt provided such association or institution is established in India having an object the control, supervision, regulation of the profession of law, medicine, accountancy, engineering, or architecture or other specified professions, and the association or institution approved by the central government are fully exempted. Moving further, next income which is exempted from tax is income of regimental fund, an income received by any person on behalf of any regimental fund or non-public fund established by the armed forces of the Union for the purpose of the past and present members of such forces or their dependents is fully exempted. Moving further, income of a specified employee welfare fund fully exempted, income of a specified pension fund fully exempted, income of trust for development of khadi and village industries fully exempted, income of khadi and village industries bonds exempted. Next, income of body form for administration of public religious or charitable trust has some clarifications. Income of body form for administration of public religious or charitable trust is fully exempted. Next, income of European Economic Community exempted. Income of SARC fund exempted. Income of SOSI Secretariat fully exempted. Income of Insurance Regulatory Authority fully exempted. Income of Central Electricity Regulatory Commission fully exempted. Income of the Prasar Bharati fully exempted. Income of certain funds like any income received by any person on behalf of the Prime Minister National Relief Fund or the Prime Minister Fund or the Prime Minister Aid to Students Fund or the Swachh Bharat Code or the Clean Ganga Fund or the Chief Minister Relief Fund or Lieutenant Governor Relief Fund. These are some certain funds which are fully exempted. Next, income of mutual fund. It has some categories for understanding. Any income of a mutual fund registered under Securities and Exchange Board of India 1992 or regulation made thereunder, a mutual fund set up by a public sector bank or a public financial institution or authorized by Reserve Bank of India and subject to certain notified conditions are fully exempted. Next, income of securitization trust. Here, securitization can be defined in Regulation 2(1) of the Securities Exchange Board of India. Under the guidelines, securitization trust shall have the meaning assigned to it in the explanation given the Securitization and Reconstruction Financial Assets and Enforcement of Security Interest Act 2002. Next, income of Investor Protection Fund. Next, income of Credit Guarantee Fund Trust for Small Industries. Income of Investor Protection Fund set up by Commodity Exchange, income of Investor Protection Fund of Depositories, income of Venture Capital Fund or Venture Capital Company, income of unit holder, income from a specified fund, capital gain on compulsory acquisition of urban land, non-business income of investment fund, income of unit holder, next income of business trust, income from a specified fund, income of real estate investment trust, distributed income to unit holder of a business trust, income to wholly owned subsidiary of Abu Dhabi Investment Authority and Sovereign Wealth Fund, income of trade union, income of a specified provident fund, income of employees state insurance fund, income of Sikkimis, following income of an individual being a Sikkimis is exempt from any source in the state of Sikkim or by way of dividend or interest on securities. The exemption is not available to Sikkimese women who, on or after 1st April 2008, marries an individual who is not a Sikkimese. Next, income of an agriculture produce market committee or board constituted under any law for the time being in force for the purpose of regulating the marketing or agriculture produce is exempt. Income of corporation for promoting the interests of the members of the scheduled caste or scheduled tribes or backward classes is fully exempted. Income of corporation for promoting interest of members of a minority community. Income of corporation for the welfare and economic upliftment of ex-servicemen. Moving further, other incomes are income of cooperative society for promoting the interests of the members of scheduled castes or scheduled tribes, income of specified boards, subsidy received from tea board, any subsidy received from or through tree board under any scheme for replantation or replacement of tea bushes or for consideration of areas used for cultivation of tea as central government may specify is exempted. Subsidy received from other board like under any such scheme of replantation, rubber plants, coffee plants, cardamom plants, or plant for the growing of such other commodity or for reservation of consolidation of areas used for cultivation of rubber, coffee, cardamom, or such other specified commodity is exempted. Income of shareholders on buyback of shares. Any income arising to an assessee being a shareholder, an account of buyback of shares by the company which pay additional income tax under section 115 QA is exempted. Next, capital gain on compulsory acquisition of urban land. Next, specified income arising from any international sporting event. Any specified income arising from any international sporting event held in India to the person notified by the central government in official gazette if such international sporting event is approved by international body regulating the international sport relating to such event has participation by more than two countries is notified by the central government in the official gazette for the purpose of this clause is fully exempted. Next, reconstruction or revival of power generation subsidiary company. An income of any subsidiary company by way of grant or otherwise received from an Indian company being its holding company engaged in the business of generation, transmission, or distribution of power if such receipt is for the settlement of dues in connection with reconstruction or revival of an existing business of power generation. Next, income of a non-profit body or authority specified by the central government. Next, reverse mortgage, any amount received by an individual as loan, either in lump sum or in installment in a transaction of reverse mortgage is exempted. New pension trust, any income received by any pension on behalf of the new pension system trust is exempted. New pension trust. Next, specified income of notified body or authority or board or trust or commission. Any specified income arising to a body or authority or board or trust or commission by whatever name called or a class thereof which has been established or constituted by or under central, state or provincial act or constituted by the central government or state government with the object of regulating or administrating any activity for the benefit of the general public is not engaged in any commercial activity and is notified by the central government in the official gazette is fully exempted. Infrastructure debt fund exempted. Import of crude oil. Any income received in India in Indian currency by a foreign company on account of sale of crude oil or other notified goods or services to any person in India provided receipt of such income in India by the foreign company is pursuant to an agreement or an arrangement entered into by the central government or approved by the central government. Having regard to the notional interest, the foreign company and the agreement or arrangement are notified by the central government in this behalf, and the foreign company is not engaged in any activity other than receipt of such income in India. Next, sale of crude oil. Next, sale of leftover stock of crude oil. Next, income of Indian Strategic Petroleum Reserves Limited. Next, equalization levy. Next, expenditure related to exempted income. Next, special provision in respect of newly established units in a special economic zone. There are some conditions to be satisfied to avail this exemption. The assessee first condition is the assessee is an entrepreneur as defined in Section 2 of SEZ Act. Second, the undertaking has begun or begins to manufacture or produce articles or things or provide services on or after 1st April 2005 but before 31st March 2020 in any SEZ. Third condition, new business. Business should not be formed by splitting up or reconstruction of any existing business. These three conditions should be fulfilled for availing the exemption from income tax. Hope you all understood these various incomes which are not to be treated as total income while assessing the total income of the assessee. These incomes are exempted and not to be treated as the part of total income while calculating the total income for the purpose of taxation. Thanks and have a good day.